At 8:14 in the morning, one text ended 12 years of pretending. We changed the locks and the gate code. We don't trust you anymore. No call. No warning. Just eviction by text message from the same woman who used to introduce me as my greatest blessing at every family dinner. I read it 3 times before my hands stopped shaking. Then I typed back one word. Noted. Clever line. But she'd forgotten something. Before I tell you what that morning actually cost her, tell me where you're listening from, because I know I'm not the only one who's been cut off by their own blood. I used to believe love was something you earned by carrying the weight nobody else would. In my family, that belief kept the lights on, the mortgage paid, and every uncomfortable question buried. My name is Camille Ashford. I'm 31, a financial manager in Chicago, and for 4 years I paid almost $5,000 a month for a house I didn't live in. Every bill had my name stamped on it. My mother called it family teamwork. My father called it doing the right thing. I called it survival. My mother, Diane, could turn guilt into a transaction faster than anyone I've ever met. Every sentence arrived wrapped in sweetness, with a price tag hidden inside. You know, honey. The roof's still leaking. It's hard watching your father struggle. Translation: send money. My sister, Paige, 34, had helplessness down to a science. 2 kids, a new crisis every month, and a talent for making refusal sound like cruelty. My father, Walter, 62, kept the peace by saying nothing at all. Not even the time I found a strange credit inquiry under my name, and he shrugged it off as a system glitch. I was 27 when I co-signed the mortgage, still young enough to think stepping up was the same thing as being loved. So I paid the taxes, the insurance, the internet bill so Dad could watch his games. When Paige's car broke down, I covered it. When she overdrew her account, I wired the difference before she even had to ask. I kept a spreadsheet, quietly labeling every payment. Temporary. That word used to feel like a safety net. I didn't realize yet that temporary stretches indefinitely when nobody else is holding up their end. The house became theirs. The debt stayed mine. And every time my mother told people I was keeping this family afloat, I mistook the compliment for affection. It took me far too long to understand that in our house, trust never meant safety. It meant silence. It started with a Facebook post. I was sitting in my car waiting on a grocery pickup order when the photo showed up in my feed. My parents and Paige on the porch of the house I'd been paying for. My mother holding a little wooden sign that read, "Home Sweet Home, a gift from Paige." The caption underneath, "So proud of our daughter for giving this family a home." I read it 5 times, waiting for my name to appear somewhere in it. It never did. The comments filled in fast. "She's amazing. You raised such a generous daughter. Paige is the rock of this family." I sat with one hand on the wheel, afraid that if I moved, whatever was holding me together would come apart with it. They weren't just leaving me out of the story. They'd rewritten it entirely. 2 days later, my bank called to confirm a request to change the primary contact on my mortgage to Paige. The documents were pending verification. I hung up without saying a word. That night, I checked my account. $2,400 gone, sent to an old shared card I thought had been closed years ago. I texted Paige. "Did you use my card again?" Her reply came 10 minutes later. "Don't make it a thing. The kids needed shoes." My mother followed right behind it. "Honey, Paige is going through a rough patch. Let's not start a war over a few dollars." A few dollars. I stared at that phrase until the letters blurred. It was never about the money. It was about what got treated as urgent and what got treated as an inconvenience. When Paige needed help, it was an emergency. When I needed basic fairness, it was me starting a war. That same night, the family group chat, renamed cheerfully Family Circle, lit up with a meme. A man handing over his wallet, captioned, "Big sponsor energy." My father added, "Keep the donor happy." I left the chat. They added me back with a string of balloon emojis. I left again. Then I blocked every one of them. The following weekend, I drove out to mow the lawn anyway. Old habits. And while I stopped for water near the kitchen window, I heard my mother's voice, low and satisfied, and Paige's, bright with laughter. "Did you see her face when Aunt Karen asked about the deed?" "It's almost done," my mother said. "Once the paperwork clears, there's nothing she can say." She's the one who put her name on the loan. Her problem now. Paige laughed again. She's Alvin a guest with a wallet. Then my mother finished it. She's not family anymore. She's just a sponsor. I didn't move. The water bottle slipped out of my hand and rolled toward the mower, and I let it. People say rage feels hot. This didn't. It felt like ice settling into something sharp and permanently clear. In that moment, I stopped wanting an apology. I wanted the truth, laid out where no one could argue with it. That night, I didn't cry, and I didn't pour a drink. I sat at my desk with a stack of unopened mail, mortgage statements, repair invoices, receipts with my name in the corner, and opened my spreadsheet. Mortgage, property tax, roof repair, daycare, groceries. 4 years of help came to $211,724. The number didn't frighten me anymore. It steadied me. At 11:46 at night, I canceled every automatic transfer. The next payment was due on the 15th. Not this time. Then I built a folder. Payments, screenshots, messages, and one voice memo I'd accidentally recorded through that open kitchen window. I named it Kitchen Truth. For the first time in months, I slept straight through the night. 3 days later, a gold-edged invitation slid under my door. Please join us in celebrating Diane Ashford's 60th birthday. Along the bottom, in cursive, a house is not a home without family. I laughed out loud, pinned it to my fridge right beside the printed spreadsheet, 2 shrines side by side, one to their story, one to mine. I called my grandfather Desmond, the only person in that family who never once asked me for anything. They called me a sponsor, I told him. He was quiet for a moment, then said, "Then it's time they find out what happens when a sponsor stops sponsoring." I spent that week building a case file, payment records sorted by month. The audio clip, the screenshots of the chat, my father's texts, even the old credit report from the system glitch. By the end, my apartment looked like an evidence room. I wasn't planning to confront anyone yet. I wanted silence to work first, to let the next mortgage payment not arrive, and let them wonder why. The night of the party, the banquet hall glowed gold and green, my mother's favorite colors, which she liked to call royalty tones. I arrived 10 minutes late on purpose. A slideshow of family photos played on a screen near the stage, and when a picture of the house came up, the room applauded. My mother's voice rang out over the speakers, built with love, kept with trust, and now passed down with pride. Trust. That word landed wrong. Paige was on stage with the microphone when I walked up. "This home represents sacrifice and love," she was saying. "We've all worked so hard to keep it." I let the applause finish, then stepped forward. "I wasn't planning to say anything tonight," I started, steady, "but since we're celebrating legacy, let's talk about what it actually cost." My mother's smile faltered. "Camille, this isn't the time." I raised a hand. "I'll be quick." I pulled a USB drive from my bag and asked my cousin to plug it in. The kitchen recording played first, my mother's voice, unmistakable. "She's not family anymore. She's just a sponsor." Someone dropped a glass. Then came the screenshot of the group chat, blown up on the screen. The meme, the comments, my father's "keep the donor happy." Finally, the spreadsheet, the total circled in red. $211,724. "This," I said quietly, "is the cost of your legacy." Nobody moved. My mother's face cracked. "You're humiliating us." "No," I said. "I'm clarifying the math." My father stood, sharp-voiced. "You don't come here and embarrass your mother on her birthday." I looked at him evenly. "You mean like when you used my credit to take out a loan last year? I have that paperwork too." Paige's voice shook as she stood. "It was supposed to be family help," we all agreed. "Funny," I said. "I don't remember signing anything. I was too busy paying your bills." My mother reached for the mic again, her hand trembling. "Families support each other. That's what love is." I stepped closer. "No, Mom. Families say thank you. Love doesn't come with an invoice." That's when my grandfather's voice cut through the room from the doorway. "Enough." He crossed the floor slowly, cane tapping against the marble, and took the microphone from my mother's hand. He looked at her first. "You raised a thief. then at my father. And a coward. Gasps moved through the crowd like a current. He turned to me. I read your message. You were right to stand your ground. Then to the room. Last week I changed the family trust. Paige's name is off it. The property, the accounts. They're Camille's now. Paige's mouth opened. You can't do that. Legacy isn't a birthright, my grandfather said. It's behavior, repeated. And you've repeated nothing but greed. I took the mic back one last time. You changed the locks, I said. I changed the keys. I set the folder of invoices on the gift table next to the wrapped presents and walked out. Nobody followed me. The doors closed behind me with a click that sounded less like an ending and more like air finally getting into a room. 72 hours later, a wire transfer landed in my account. $211,724. No note, no apology, just numbers, clean and final. I closed my laptop and let out a breath I didn't know I'd been holding. I made tea instead of coffee that morning. No calls, no messages asking for a little help. I sent their lawyer one line, transaction received, no further contact necessary, and deleted the thread. Later that week, I drove out to see my grandfather. He was on the porch with his tea, like he'd known I was coming. They paid, I told him. He nodded. Guilt always pays late. But it pays. We sat a while before he spoke again. Forgiveness requires accountability, Camille. They haven't earned it. I know, I said. Peace doesn't need their permission. He smiled. Now you sound like someone who understands what freedom actually costs. I used to think family was something you earned by giving until it hurt. I know better now. Real love doesn't come with an invoice. If you ever had to draw a line with people who share your blood, you're not alone. Somewhere out there, someone else is learning the same lesson tonight. Peace isn't given, it's taken back.